method of business would persist until the formation of the National Wrestling Alliance in 1948. The NWA as a central governing body, with its singular, undisputed world champion, would be absolute and undeniable. This control, combined with the expansion of the interstate highway system, and the inevitable popularity and availability of regional television, would usher in an era of wrestling that was defined by what would come to be known as the territory system. The territory system would dominate wrestling for nearly 4 decades. While the borders, authority, popularity, and obedience of individual NWA territories was in a near constant state of flux, to this day the impact and influence of these territories is still felt. Each territory had its own signature promoter and star. While it is impossible to cram these characteristics into a static, concrete map, we are damn sure going to try anyway.
So open up your eyes way before it gets too late. Now one man, there's no way you can hit the streetlights running, don't give a damn. A simple explanation that you'll never find. Sinners never sacrifice. We never leave love alone. Is hate really worth the price? Look at what we've done. Never care for compromise. Always threatening someone's life, and it feels like the end of the world.
All right, welcome back to another episode of This Week in Pro Wrestling with your host, Mike Monty, along with Jimmy Pharaoh, who still remains in Florida. But the good news is Jimmy is joined the cast of the new format of This Week in Wrestling, guys. We're trying this new approach where we'll have 4 new hosts. Mr. Phil DeCesare. Phil?
Thank you for having me on. I'm totally thrilled. A little nervous, but otherwise very psyched.
I'm very excited, too. The Playa Benny Scala.
Benny.
The Playa is here from Newport Richey, Florida, home of the Skullet. I'm here to win the gold.
That's it, baby. The great Bruce, ESO Creative.
ESO.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, Bruce.
And finally, the star of the show, Mr. Jimmy Pharaoh, making his return.
Yeah.
The star of
Oi.
the star of the show. The star of the show. I'm still in Florida. I just got here. What do you mean? I'm still in Florida. Hi, the star of the show. I've been gone for a week. You turned it into a game show? I sent you a fucking hip toss in the mail. Did you get it yet?
Not yet.
Oh my God. What's up, buddy? How are you? Hey, everybody.
We're all excited
Pharaoh.
for this new format. Let me explain it to the fans out there, along with our cast, the Fab Four. The rules are simple. Monty will give out the topics of the week in pro wrestling. Each cast member has 90 seconds to give their side of the subject. Each cast member will receive points for the most informative and the most entertaining take on the present subject. These points will be awarded by Monty. That's right, Monty. He's the judge, the jury, and the executioner.
Yeah, did you get the mask in the mail that I sent at least? Executioner?
Also,
Right.
fans get to weigh in with points. Just comment in the section. Those points will be totaled at the end of the first, second, third, fourth, fifth round. After the subjects are covered, the 2 cast members with the most points will continue to the
Right.
final round. The other 2 cast members will be relegated to what we call the Land of the Misfit Toys. The winner of the final round will be crowned the This Week in Pro Wrestling Championship and defend it weekly. Please support your favorite cast member and assist them in becoming the new This week in wrestling, World Heavyweight Champion of the World. Are you ready?
I guess we're ready. I guess so.
Ready.
Are you ready? I'm ready.
Man, there's a lot
I'm
of
ready.
nerves.
Let's get going.
Phil's
For the
nervous.
thousands
Phil, how
in
you doing? You all
attendance
right?
and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, I'm busy.
Now,
in the chat
wait a
room
minute,
playing
Joe.
for
What
votes
if I
here.
just want to defend in my territory and I don't feel like traveling the world?
Then you'll be stripped of your
Never
title,
mind. Go
Pharaoh.
ahead. Play the game.
Subject
Play the
number
game, will
one.
you?
Subject number one. Popular AEW fan account quits after receiving serious threats. AEW fans are quick to defend the company at every turn. They are also known to see social media as a battlefield at times. Now we have another instance of pro wrestling fans taking things too far. Some fans of free speech really didn't appreciate the fact that AEW Botch's account was targeted, and they spoke out about the protest. A short time later, another account pop up, ran the same person as AEW Botch's, but they didn't stick around. The AEW Botch account manager said he was receiving threats and photographs to his home address of his family. Subject line, stop criticizing AEW. And he says, I quit. And opening up this first round is the Playa Benny Scala.
Oh, Benny, the pressure, baby. The pressure.
Tell me when I start.
You are on.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to go old school here because I'm old and that's all I really know. And here's what I don't get with this whole thing with AEW and WWE. So, I'm going to go back to 1968 when I first started watching wrestling on TV from the Capitol Arena, the National Arena in Washington, D.C. It was the only wrestling I knew. Maybe about 5-6 years later, messing around my 12-inch Hitachi TV set, and Channel 41 from Paterson, New Jersey, all of a sudden I see NWA Hollywood wrestling from the Olympics, and now I'm seeing Fred Blassie, Victor Rivera, Black Gordman, Goliath. A couple of years after that, I get championship wrestling from Florida and Georgia. My thing is, there's never too much wrestling. Why do you have? It seems like now people have to align themselves in camp. Like you're either Team WWE or Team AEW, and I don't get that. Why can't you like both? Or why do you have to just like one? I don't like Jimmy would say, can't we all just get along? Maybe Jimmy that wasn't the one that said that, but so I don't get it.
that.
And I'm not an AEW fan anyway. And as far as company, that's all I got to say about that.
So got 21 seconds there, Bruce.
Ding, ding.
Bruce Phil.
Yeah, you're supposed to use the whole time.
I'm
Keep
at
blabbing.
zero.
Go, Betty, go.
I'm showing 0 here.
I'd say 0 too.
0-0.
Oh, okay.
Mike, you're looking at
All right.
the
You know what?
YouTube feed.
I got to be able to see TV better. I'm sorry. I'm delayed. I apologize, guys. Next up,
Did I get a point for my shirt at least? Jeez.
you finished up with 6 points. Nice job, Benny. Good job.
All right. For something I know
Pharaoh.
nothing about.
Number 2, Jimmy Pharaoh.
Say go.
Go.
All right. Well, first of all, this is just, as Mike always says, a microcosm of society in general. What the hell's going on when you can't even give your opinion about professional wrestling sports entertainment? Who the hell cares what anybody else has to say? If you're interested, read it. If you're not interested, let it go. Makes no sense to me whatsoever, okay, as far as that goes. The never-ending debates with people getting batshit over wrestling has become quite comical. Why are you sending death threats to somebody's house and stuff like that? Now, unfortunately, with pro wrestling, it's become just like anything else. But we're at the point now where it's become Jets Giants. You got to pick a side. And we've never been more divided than ever, so how can you be surprised when society does things like this? We are completely side pickers nowadays. And in the old days, wrestling was a different thing than it is today, because wrestling now, we know when someone farts in a locker room out in Sarasota. Did I just use the Florida reference? Anyway, well, I'm just saying, though, This has become not just a problem in professional wrestling. This has become a problem with almost anything and everything we do in life. And it's just absolutely hilarious. And Mike, thank God bless your heart, Mike, for always being on social media and dealing with it and stuff like that. Because quite honestly, I feel like I get dumber every second I spend on the computer.
Jimmy. Nice job. Well done. All right.
Thank you.
Next up,
Thank you. Thank you.
Bruce from ESO. You're on the clock.
All right. Well, first off, why do you, in the old days, anytime you advertised anybody's business, it was a good thing, whether it was good or bad. And AEW's really has taken offense to the AEW Botches website and has gone after them several times. But when we're going after someone's livelihood, that's another realm. This is kayfabe. That should never ever happen. AEW Botches, it was a great website. It was fun to watch. Listen, let's face it, AEW has a lot of botches. When we do that high risk crazy shit, that's what happens. It's their own fault. A fan took the time to edit this and put it together. AEW should be thanking them for this. This was free publicity for them. No, instead, what did they do? They went out of their way to shut the guy down. And I just can't believe we're in a time right now where stuff like this happens. You know, media is so powerful, and such a small guy too. Come on, AEW, shame on you. Whoever's sending the death threats to the guy who was running the website, shame on them. That's crazy. This day and age, I can't believe we're there. Tony Khan, shame on you going after this small guy. You've got billions of dollars behind you. Put on the better product. Don't blame him. It's not his fault there's the botches. So, what do we got? We got 5 seconds left.
Just fuck you,
Right,
right?
Hi, Mom.
You gotta go till Mike says.
We might have to go. We might have to take a point out there as we're counting on the clock. Finishing up the AEW botch, the great Phil DeCesare. Phil, you're on, brother. You're on the clock.
All right. Well, you know, I think my first time ever I got on the program and spoke to you guys, I talked about, I think, the greatest threat that's looming out there now, and that's censorship. You guys know firsthand that if you say what's perceived as the wrong thing or you go against the narrative, all of a sudden the man comes down on you. And, you know, it's creating a situation now where we're all walking on eggshells, just being, you know, so careful in what we say and what we do and what we produce, you know. Yeah, there is room for these two organizations, and I can't imagine WWE doing anything like this either. You know, it's overstepping the boundaries. It's a bridge too far. You know, I know the bigger issue really here is, and I think it is about the style maybe that we're seeing on the programming. It's obviously it's very high risk, very fast paced, and I have to wonder if this fan didn't put this up just kind of as a way to send it some signals to express some concern that, you know, what we're dealing with here is just a super high risk style. We've never seen this type of aerial assaults before. I mean, it's really, I enjoy the product. I mean, I enjoy the risk. I certainly have my critiques with it, but it's worthy of discussion. It's a point worthy of discussion, you know, and again, this is coming from a fan of their product as well. But I mean, I think there's an old saying that says that you know who your rulers are by who you can't criticize. And, you know, this whole internet thing is kind of like
brother.
the Wild
Nice
West.
job, Phil.
Oh,
unbelievable. All right, guys.
Bravo, Phil. Bravo, Philly.
Oh, baby, we're in trouble.
What did you guys think of that first round? Was it nerve-wracking or what? You getting over the jitters?
It was.
All right, gentlemen.
Nerve-wracking? What?
Subject 2. Are you ready for subject 2?
Bring it on.
Hit it.
Jade Cargill on leaving AEW for the WWE. It wasn't easy, but it was easy. WWE media blitz from Jade Cargill yesterday included sending newly signed star to chat with David Shoemaker. The standout quotes from the interview were as follows. Cargill is respectful of her time of AEW, but talks about the last 3 years as a means to an end. Asked how she feels to be called a WWE superstar, Jade replied, "It feels great. I feel like I just in preparation for the grand stage. I felt like this is always the mission. I felt like the shoe fits. I felt this is going to happen. Honestly, this is expected. I'm so excited to be here." More than just preparation for the grand stage at WWE, Jade viewed her time at AEW as a career strategy. While talking about a 2019 WWE tryout not signing with the company, she said, "One thing, I'm a businesswoman. I think I made the best route at the time. The WWE is a great company." The 31-year-old Cargill wouldn't say she'd hit the ceiling in AEW, but she did say it didn't give her the path she needed in Tony's company. Jade Cargill, gentlemen, opening up. Phil DeCesare. Phil.
Wow. First of all, what a stunning athlete she is. Boy, you talk about the look, just the talent, even the mic skills and the believability. She's tremendous. She really is. And, in the old days, we had territories, and people would go to a territory for, as few as 3 months or stay a year, depending upon how quickly they cycle you through, whether you're a heel or you're a face. Now, with these two major companies and all this TV exposure, it's totally necessary now to pack up after a while and seek broader horizons. I know she's really close with Cody Rhodes, and I think he was a big part in making the switch. And with all these recent cuts, I have to wonder if their budget hasn't opened up a little more to kind of reach out and snag the people they really view as talent. She's done so much there, and again, 31. We don't know how many more years she has in the business. I think she has a child, may want to have a few more. So I think she wants to get up while the iron is hot and seek some greener pastures, work with a new talent pool too. And I think certainly with the shakeup in management up there, it might open up some opportunities for her too that might not have otherwise been there. I know she's grateful for her time in AEW, and I definitely am looking forward to seeing her in this new venue, and particularly Rhea Ripley obviously is a natural opponent for her. And certainly we've got some bigger women too in WWE, which could actually pose more of a physical threat to her. So I think it's just a great move. I think I'm glad we're going to be seeing more of her.
That's it, Phil. That's it. Good job, Phil. Well done, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
Number 2, Bruce from ESO. Bruce, you are on the clock. Jade Cargill.
What a great pickup by the WWE. If you had to pick one person from AEW, that would probably be the person to get. She is one of the top talents, women talents out there. And let's face it, she's had a great reputation there. Everybody is praising her on their way out of there. She praised her time there, and Tony Khan was praising her in her exit in an interview the other day, talking about the door is always open for her to come back. Can't wait to see her get over into the WWE. I guess this week she was over at the Performance Center already. They didn't release any footage or anything of that, but can't wait to see her work with these women in the WWE. Let's face it, her and Bianca Belair. Could you imagine that feud? That feud is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Her and Rhea Ripley. Oh my gosh, those two they're gonna tear it down. I could just picture this women's division in WWE is growing. It's at a point that women's wrestling is at a peak that we've never seen before. I can't believe we've gotten to this point. If you told me 20 years ago that we would have several women's champions and women's tag team champions and several wrestling organizations with established women's wrestling, that's absolutely insane. And let's face it, Jade Cargill, she's gonna compliment these women that are there now to an unbelievable stature.
That's it, Bruce. Good job, buddy. Well done.
You're right, Bruce.
Jade Cargill. Number 3. It's the star of the show, Jimmy Pharaoh, talking about Jade Cargill. You're on the clock, Jimmy. Did we lose him? Uh-oh, Jimmy's in trouble. He's going to lose points. Where did he go?
Frozen.
Where did he go? Oh, man, Jimmy's up against it now. Are we going to run the clock on Jimmy with no connection?
Oh, no. Poor
That's
Jimmy.
Terrible. All right, we're going to
There's
move
no
to
timeouts,
Mr.
right?
Benny Scala. Can we move it down to Benny? 1 second.
Benny.
Let me know.
Go, Benny.
So Phil made an excellent point going back old school again with the territories. One of the great things about the territories is you always stayed fresh. You wrestled in Mid-South. You stayed there for maybe 6 to 9 months. I remember Vince McMahon Sr. was his claim to fame. He would bring in, the heel of the month or the heel of the quarter and give them this tremendous buildup. As an example, he brought in Bob Orton Sr., came in as Rocky Fitzpatrick. The guy was unbeatable. And it always led to, 1, 2, or 3 matches with Bruno at the Garden, all sellouts. So now, as Phil said, you can't do that anymore because there are no more territories. Everything's on TV. But I think this is a huge upgrade for Jade Cargill. I think I listened to what she said. I'm very impressed by her savvy, her business sense. I think, and to use a baseball analogy, I think she is going from the Scranton Wilkes-Barre, whatever their name is, to the New York Yankees. I mean, she had to spend that time in the minor leagues to get seasoned, but she's in the right place in the right time. I'm not the biggest fan of women's wrestling, but I got to tell you, the matchups, the potential of her against an Asuka, a Rhea Ripley, any of these great women wrestlers, it's just mind-boggling the possibilities they have.
And that's it, Benny. Good job. Pharaoh's back on. Jimmy, Jade Cargill. On
Guys, you're breaking up. I can't hear you.
Jade Cargill, Jimmy.
Well, I don't know if you guys can hear me, but I'll give it a shot.
We can hear you.
Jade Cargill. Okay, let's try. Jade Cargill. All right, what's getting lost in all of this is congratulations, AEW. You are officially TNA during the Spike television time period. What I mean by that is that this is the first of what we're going to see a lot more of happening. See, if WWE had grabbed all of AEW's people when they first started, they would have been giving validity to them. Instead, they were smart enough to wait this thing out for a little while. What we're getting is somebody in their prime from AEW. She's in the prime of her career. She's 31 years old. She was basically the Goldberg of the women's division over in AEW. So they are absolutely taking one of their top talents, but they're not doing it in a way that really puts AEW over in any kind of way. That's timing, because Vince McMahon, Triple H, and the rest of the folks at WWE are geniuses. Timing is everything. So by making this move, they have basically done it at the right time. Cargill gets to walk right into a roster that she's just tailor-made to work with, work for, put over, and get over. It's an absolute fantastic, fantastic signing. There is no way that the other folks in AEW, the ones that are coming up, are not going to be seeing this. You've had Cody come over.
That's it, Jimmy.
Now you have
Good
one of
job,
their own
Jimmy.
time coming over. And
Jimmy!
all right.
Well done. Well done. Unbelievable. Okay. Here we go. Subject number 3. Are we ready? Hulk Hogan's daughter breaks silence on not attending wedding. Over the weekend, the veteran wrestler tied the knot for the 3rd time. Brooke Hogan was nowhere to be found. However, amid the numerous speculations as why she wasn't there, the television personality is clearing the air about what truly happened. Hulk Hogan's daughter chose to create some distance with the family. Brooke took to Instagram to give an explanation. As many of you know, I value my privacy. Unfortunately, a lot of the media outlets are making assumptions as why I did not attend my father's 3rd wedding. She began, instead of leaving it to speculation, I decided it's better to shut it all down here, the 35-year-old continued. As we all experience this with all our families, the dynamics of the family unit continuously change over the years. With that being said, my family has experienced a lot of change. I wish him well. Opening up, Jimmy Pharaoh, Brooke Hogan.
Nope. Brooke Hogan. Okay, well, at least I heard the Brooke Hogan part because I actually know what's going on with this. As far as Brooke Hogan goes, it sounds like, and I really hate that we even get to hear about this crap because I don't even feel like I care or it's any of my business. But apparently, Hulk Hogan and Brooke are not so close. It's pretty obvious. Being a regular guy, just a regular old person with a regular old job and a regular old life, it's really hard for me to sit here and try to figure out what exactly Brooke Hogan is so upset about. There's been a lot of change. Yeah, there's been a lot of change. Your father's Hulk Hogan. What do you think? He's going to be boring? To be boring? He's Hulk Hogan. How many changes has he had in his life? How many things has he done to get over, to make sure that he stays over, to make sure the bank account is good so he can take care of a no-talent, spoiled, lousy voice singing daughter like you, sister? Seriously, what is your problem? He got married. Go to the wedding. Oh, my God. You got to think it through, right? It's really hard having Hulk Hogan as my dad. I can't tell what to do. Maybe I'll have a filet tonight, or maybe I should get some broiled fish. I'm really not sure. I could get my nails done. Oh, shut up. Really? Go to your father's wedding. The hell's wrong with you? I got any more after that? Ding, ding.
You get a point just for that. Next up, the Playa Benny Scala.
Benny.
Brooke Hogan, Benny.
How do I follow that? Jeez. But I'll try. So I think what Brooke was trying to say in so many words is my family is fucked up. And she said it quite eloquently. If you look at that family, the son, Nick, is a train wreck. The ex-wife, Linda, dates high school sophomores. And Hulk marries women that look like his fucking daughter. So note to Hulk, not every, you don't have to, there are other women in this world that don't have blonde hair that don't look like Linda. Now, with all that being said, though.
Really?
With all that being said, like Jimmy said, where would Brooke Hogan be if she was Brooke McGillicuddy, not the daughter of Hulk Hogan? She'd be singing in a freaking bowling alley somewhere, or like dancing at a booby bar. So, how about a little bit of gratitude for your father? What? Yeah. Just think about the ride you've had for the last 35 years. Think about how privileged you've been. It's like the movie Trading Places at the end when he says, "Should we have lobster or cracked crab? Why don't we have both?" She had both every damn day of her life. So for God's sakes, I get it. Your family's messed up. But, whose family is not messed up? Come on. Hulk needs to be happy like everybody else. Brother.
Yeah.
Nice job, Benny. What a rebound. Holy cow. All right, next up, Bruce from ESO, Brooke Hogan.
Brooke who? Brooke. No, seriously, she's still around? Does she really have a career still? Let's face it.
No.
There would be no Brooke Hogan if it weren't for Hulk Hogan. It's a Brooke Bolea. She's got no real talent. How many careers has Hulk Hogan helped this girl get into? Let's see. She was a singer. Then she was on Hogan Knows Best. Then she gets her own show that sucked. Brooke Knows Best. And then, let's see, she was brought into AEW, and they tried to make her a valet, and they tried to make her into a wrestler, and she released albums along the way. And guess what? She still means nothing. Last I heard, she was on the touring the wrestling circuit doing autographs. Come on. And then you're going to disrespect your father? You know what this is? You're looking for attention because you're irrelevant at this point. That's the only reason you're saying this stuff. Come on. I can't even believe they're giving her a platform. And maybe Brooke's upset because she's not the hotter blonde in the Hogan family at this point. I don't know. Is the new girl younger than her? I don't know. It's got to be something. Or maybe it's because Hogan's not dating one of her friends again. Oh, wasn't that happening a couple of those times? Man, that Hogan family, they're just a train wreck in general. Come on, man.
That's it.
I had a zero. Oh, yeah, I had a zero.
Bruce, you want to roll, brother. You want to roll. Man, some big bounce backs. Phil, you're in the hard spot right now.
I think the new wife is 45.
Phil, you're on the clock. You're on.
All right. Well, as Gorilla Monsoon used to say, conspicuous by his absence. I think, in the quest for attention, I mean, when you think about it, I think Brooke could get more attention from not attending the wedding than from actually attending. So I think this might be a little bit of a, of an attention-seeking kind of grab too. I guess it was a quiet ceremony on the island, just a few people present, Nick and a few others, and the bride's children too, and that's all well and good. Can't compare to Hogan's first wedding now in Japan, where Andre was there and Inoki was there, and it was just a big to-do and a big celebration. And sadly, those guys aren't with us anymore. But yeah, I think she's looking to be relevant, and I think this is her way of expressing it. And I agree. And I'll tell you, Playa, you stole my thunder about this odd look-alike situation, this Shakespearean dynamic, this Oedipal Electra complex thing going on there, where this Valley of the Dolls, the Stepford wife thing, they're all looking alike and everything. And I'm just, I'm not surprised. We know so much about this guy in his life anyway. To me, he's still a hero. He's still a national treasure. And, we build up our heroes and we tear them down. And then we just delve deep into the coffin, interviewing worms after they die. It's too much, man. Let them have some peace and some quiet. And let's not cast the attention.
Great job, Phil. Great job. Unreal,
Thank you.
guys. We got a tight battle going on here.
Oh, yeah.
Not bad. Not bad. How you guys hanging in there? How's the pressure holding up?
It's good. I'm getting ready for the island.
It's tense.
It's tense, he says. Subject number 4. Undertaker calls AEW second rate. During his recent one-man dead show in Glasgow, the Hall of Famer was asked which current wrestler would he like to face in the ring. This led to the dead man naming MJF. He would later add that AEW is a second-rate company and that MJF needs to leave ASAP. Opening up this round, the Pharaoh, Undertaker, MJF. You're on the clock, Jimmy.
Undertaker, MJF. I missed the whole thing, Mike. You're going to have to run it by me again. Breaking up.
All right, Undertaker says AEW second rate, and MJF needs to get out of there.
Fuck.
All right, we're going to move on.
Can't hear you, brother.
We're going to move
try
on.
to get back in.
Opening up will be ESO. You're on the clock shortly now.
All right. Well, I hate to say it. I agree with the Undertaker. It's definitely this. Well, I don't hate to agree with him. He's absolutely right. It is a second-rate company. It is not on the same tier as WWE on any level. However, MJF is really the foundation behind that show behind that company at this point. There's really nobody left without CM Punk. If MJF happened to leave AEW, they'd be in some serious trouble. They don't really have many superstars. Let's face it, Chris Jericho's days are numbered. Punk's gone. Who else are they gonna? Who are they gonna promote at this point? MJF is that company at this point. Tony Khan might as well just open the coffers, give him whatever it takes to keep him there. Now, as far as Undertaker against MJF, that would be a really, really cool. That would be a cool match. Undertaker has great matches with everybody, but could you imagine that lead up into it? MJF on the mic, he's really one of the top guys on the mic at this point, and I really would love it to see MJF and Undertaker go at it. So let's see. Going back to the original point though, with Undertaker bashing AEW, who could even say AEW is on that same scale as WWE? When will it ever be on the same scale? It won't be. Especially now that they have the Endeavor group behind it. That is a juggernaut that is going to go to the sky's the limit.
That's it, Bruce. Good job, buddy. Good job. Pharaoh, how's your connection?
Get me while you can. Rewind. Tell me what we're talking about fast.
Undertaker, AEW second rate. MJF needs to leave ASAP. You're on the clock now.
MJF needs to leave AEW for WWE, according to Undertaker. Do I have that right?
That's correct.
All right. Well, Undertaker's smart, but there's only one problem, though. Like my partner has always said, how is MJF going to be applied if he does come here? Is he really going to be the same? It's the cutting-edge character of MJF that makes MJF what he is. Now, can he take something off the fastball? Yeah, probably. It all really depends on how badly MJF wants to be a WWE superstar. If deep down he really does, and after he sees what Jade Cargill did, then he'll do it. Do I think he can do it? Yeah, I think he can do it. But I'll tell you what, it would be a real death blow for AEW because MJF is one of those, like Jade Cargill, truly homegrown stars. And quite honestly, he's been ripe for the picking for a while, and I do eventually see them picking him. And I got a really large car that pulled just next to me right now, so I guess we could dock this guy for points. But it would be real wise for Undertaker, advice to be followed by MJF. He would be main event heel, big time, could be legendary proportions if he did it.
All right, the clock is out. Next up, Phil DeCesare getting on the 130. Whenever you're ready. I don't see it. There you are. You're on, Phil.
All right. Well, I have to agree. Like MC Hammer, MJF is dope on the floor and magic on the mic. He really is a great talent. And part of that, I think, is the latitude I think they extend him to be the character that he is. And, we live in a day and an age where we can't walk down the street without everybody knowing it, and it must be just so challenging for people now to stay in character. I mean, it's so challenging that very few do, I remember reading in DDP's book something to the effect or Mick Foley's book, he said that Abdullah said that Dallas is going to make it, DDP. And Foley said, why? And Abby said, because he lives the gimmick. And we see MJF at fan conventions living the gimmick. He's rude to kids. He's, he really, has been a heel through and through. And that's the kind of attitude I think that Khan and the rest of the team gives him. I wonder if that would be the case in WWE, whether he'd be micromanaged. I don't know. I remember Taz saying something about Paul Heyman years ago. He said, F Paul E., but at least he lets me be me. And, and I think that's an important thing. And I think that in AEW, they have that latitude. They're not traded on Wall Street. And, I think they could benefit from being a little bit edgier. And that's what I like about MJF. Now, as far as a rivalry with The Undertaker, MJF would have to wear those moon boots because The Undertaker's still about 6'7" or 6'8".
That's a clock, Phil. Well done.
All right.
Well done. We got a tight race here. Benny Scala, the player, going on $130. Whenever he's up, you're on.
So, first of all, let's talk about the basic premise of AEW versus WWE. And Undertaker's absolutely right. I mean, Tony Khan, he took Daddy's money. He's the modern day Richie Rich. He took Daddy's money and he started a fraternity, more or less. I mean, the whole premise of making a professional wrestler an executive vice president, it's like going to GM and taking the guy on the, who does rivets and saying, now you're the head of manufacturing. Well, I mean, the guy was good at, riveting a rivet. Does he know how to do payroll? Does he know how to do budgeting? Does he know how to meet with executives, present plans and budgets and things like that? Absolutely not. That's the first premise. And, as a wrestler, you're going to look out for your buddies. That the Young Bucks and Omega, they're going to look out for their friends. They're not going to make an objective assessment based on talent. But yes, do I think MGF should come to WWE? Absolutely. The guy is a once in a generation talent. The guy's mic work is absolutely incredible. He lives the gimmick 24/7, and give the guy credit for that. I mean, he takes this seriously. This is everything to him. And now, would they use him properly, though? And I think his height, in a land of big wrestlers, might be a detriment.
All right, Benny, well done. All right, guys, this is the final question, allowing us to go to the final two. Are we ready?
Ready.
WWE stock share price drops by over 10%. Stock in the WWE fell dramatically in value this week, with shares losing over 10% of their net worth in one day. PWI Insider reports on August 30th, WWE share price opened up and closed at an impressive 110.05 of August 31. The stock dropped dramatically by $12.90 at one point, down to $97.50. Is the sale to Endeavor a mistake on both ends? Opening up on this round, Bruce, ESO, the 130 is on you, sir.
So absolutely, it's not a mistake. This is a very, very common thing to happen. There could have been a big sell-off of shares by some stockholders. It could be some fear with all the layoffs. There's so many factors that go into these things, but absolutely not. WWE and UFC combining into the Endeavor. It's going to be great for both companies. Not that I'm a fan of it, but let's face it, this is going to allow wrestling to reach a broader audience than ever. WWE is going to be more international, along with UFC. We're going to see them doing some cross promotions. We'll also see an opportunity for some of these great UFC stars, as they're retiring, maybe have an opportunity to come over into the WWE, or we're going to see maybe some crossover events or things like that. It's a win-win for both companies. You know, some of the unfortunate things I could see happening would be some branding on tights or things like that, like they do in the UFC, or branding in the rings or the ropes. We've already started to see that with like the Slim Jim Chat thing and the Mountain Dew thing earlier this year. So we're going to see more stuff like that I don't want to see, but at the same time, it's opening up to bigger and more markets. Don't see it as a mistake. I don't see a 10% drop in stock as a big deal, especially in the long run. I think long range.
That's it, Bruce. Well done, sir. Bruce is taking the lead, and if it ends right now, Bruce and Benny and Phil are tied. It would be a three-way battle. Up next, Jimmy Pharaoh, WWE stock. The 130 is going to be on you, Jimmy. You're on. And he's frozen. I just can't. I can't.
The irony of being frozen in Florida.
Wait, he's back.
He's
Jimmy,
back.
you back? All right. We're going to move to Phil DeCesare. The 130 is going to go on Phil. Phil, you're on the 130.
Yeah. Boy, this is an interesting situation. I think it can work as long as they keep some of the same people involved. I think Vince McMahon still needs to be an important part of WWE for this thing to really be successful. And I think, given his track record, stockholders are very aware of what's going on behind the scenes. So, you know, if they can keep Vince in place and to stay out of trouble, if they can hire Jerry McDevitt, get him out of retirement, keep him on Vince's side, I think that stockholders will be very happy. I think that the shares will increase in value. I think there's some crossover here. I think you might interest WWE fans more in the UFC product, and I think vice versa. So I think the strength may lie in the cross promotion in terms of pooling the resources. And they've talked about maybe running UFC and WWE in the same regions and somehow maybe just coalescing with the budget and actually being able to do more with their advertising dollar too. Been a fan of UFC since the beginning, actually even more so back then when they had a variety of characters in martial arts, and it was just great viewing. Back in the old UFC days, Bruce Spotnick on the microphone, and just so much great talent. And I think it's going to be a great merger. I also think that the feds are going to be trying to come down on both organizations. I remember the late
Phil,
John
McCain. Well done. Jimmy, are you back? Jimmy might have to go to the Land of the Misfit Toys.
No, man, I can't hear. Everything's breaking up on me. Sorry, guys.
All right. Okay, playa. All you have to do is get 4 points to make it to the finals, as Jimmy has dropped out due to sound issues.
The pressure.
You're on, Benny.
All right. First of all, I think this is a great move. It's a great merger. You know, stock prices go up and down. That's the nature of the stock market. If you're gonna invest in the stock market, you're not doing it for a month or two. You're doing it for the long haul. You gotta let it ride. I think in the long run, it's going to be a great thing. And a lot of people on social media were horrified about the layoffs. And one thing we have to remember, though, even as fans, this is a business. And typically when two companies merge, like a lot of people got laid off, but when you have duplicate infrastructure, the first thing that's going to happen is people are going to get laid off. It's just a fact of life. It's not a pleasant fact of life, but it is. And, as far as the wrestlers being released, I really didn't have much of a problem with any of them. I mean, Matt Riddle, good Riddle or good riddance, whatever, either way you want to cut it. Some of them I might not have agreed with, like a Dolph Ziggler, Shelton Benjamin. But, again, somebody sat in an office, and they're not. It's not sentiment. It's a business decision. In their minds, whatever they were paying Dolph or whatever they were paying Shelton Benjamin, they were not experiencing an increasing amount of revenue. Dolph was great, but Dolph's time maybe is come and gone. Maybe he'll resurface in AEW. Who knows? I think it's a great move. I think you are going to see a lot of crossover. UFC fighters at the end of their careers, maybe going over to WWE.
All right, Benny, well done. All right,
Hey, Mike.
Jimmy, one more shot. Jimmy, are you there?
Mike,
Yeah.
have I missed any questions? I can actually hear you guys right now.
You have not. This is the final
right.
round. You're the last guy. You literally need 9 points to get into the final round. Are you ready?
9 points.
9 points.
Oh God. Whatever. Go ahead. This is
You're on the
anyway.
clock.
Hit me, player.
Go.
What am I talking about?
The WWE stock has dropped by over 20% since the merger with Endeavor, whatever the hell it is. Right?
Endeavor.
Yeah. Endeavor. Go ahead.
Okay. Shares on. It wasn't a mistake to make the sale to Endeavor by Vince McMahon, and did Endeavor make a mistake in purchasing the WWE?
Nah, not at all. I think right now it's just like, marketing speculation. I don't take much stock in it right now. I don't think that's a big deal at all. You still got Triple H with his fingers in the pie, don't you? And Vince McMahon is still there. He's just not officially official as the big guy, but everybody knows he's still running it. There obviously was some agreements behind the scenes that none of us will ever be privy to. But the bottom line is that no, that doesn't hurt anybody, and it won't hurt them either. Right now, isn't this a little bit of a down season? Why don't you check back with me on the stock when we get towards Survivor Series and Royal Rumble and stuff like that? I just love that every single day we have to worry about the latest thing. Oh, did you hear? Vince McMahon stubbed his toe. Oh no, now he's going to have to get corn fitting things for his feet. Stop. Who cares? Everything's fine. And the people that they let go recently, boy, is Dolph Ziggler not just like an AEW fucking dream? He's already been in WWE forever. Now we can use him once every 6 months in AEW.
Jimmy, well done. Great comeback.
Thank you.
Lost a little sound. Almost there. But we have to send 2 people to the Land of the Misfit Toys. And unfortunately, for the first episode of This Week in Pro Wrestling, those 2 people are going to be ESO Creative. You're off to the Land of Misfit Toys. And the great
Bruce.
Jimmy Pharaoh, also off to the Land of Misfit Toys.
Pharaoh, we love you.
Leaving the Playa and Phil to go to the final round. 1 minute and 30. The final question, guys. Alpha Jr. looking for $100,000. I'm writing to ask for help from my brother and hero, Alpha Anoy Jr. He is currently fighting for his life after Alpha was rushed to the hospital with unexpected complex cardiac issues. His heart injection fraction is only working at 35%, and his heart is filling with fluid. Please reach out to our GoFundMe page and give Alpha Jr. your support. You're on the 30. Benny Scala, the player, in the finals for the championship. You're on.
Oh, man, GoFundMe. So I have such mixed feelings about a GoFundMe account. Here's my basic thing. I know, with Scott Hall and Jake Roberts, my first reaction was 2 things. Number one, you guys made 10 times more money than I'll ever make in my lifetime. And nobody's going to give me set up a GoFundMe for me. What happened to all that money? What did you do with it? that you need help from the public. And the other side to that is, if I did need help, is it Jake Roberts? Is it Scott Hall? Are they going to contribute to my GoFundMe account? And the answer is, fuck no, they're not. They don't know who the hell I am. So now, in a case of the one GoFundMe that I did support was Mike Halleck, because number one, it was so sudden and so traumatic, and he left behind, I think, a 13 or a 14-year-old daughter. And thanks to you, Mike, I had the privilege of meeting Mike down here in Florida, and I consider the guy a friend. The guy was going to be on my podcast in a couple of weeks, and I was more than happy to help. I wish I could have actually helped more. So in that case, yes, I felt honored actually to contribute to his GoFundMe. But for the most part, I'm not a fan. I mean, I've worked my whole life. I worked for 46 years to get myself to the point where I'll never need a GoFundMe, and I'm very proud of that. And I just, in most cases, I don't get it.
That's it. Well done. Well, Phil, you got 10 points to catch up on the minute 30 for the This Week in Wrestling Championship. Phil, you're on the clock.
Well, I definitely understand the player's perspective, and we don't really know. Some of these guys from the past, before these big money contracts were a thing, I think they really had to scrimp and save, and they really had to fight for their money. And, and nearly all of them don't have any type of health plan to begin with. There's no union there. And so they spent years breaking their bodies to entertain us, and in those hard rings back in the day. And, and they're asking for a little something in return. I mean, the wrestling audience is vast and huge. And, if a fan sends in $1 and there are just so many fans, I think they can meet their goal. And, this guy is suffering, and I'm sure they're not very proud of the fact that they have to reach out and ask for help, but I'm hoping there's a community out there that can help and will help. And, it's really just it's a shame, these guys, and especially this family and the generations of entertainers and athletes they've produced. And, brought us a lot of joy over the years. I mean, for decades and decades. And again, he's probably not one of those big money players. And, I don't think it would be so much to reach in and just give him a little something and make quite a difference.
That's
this
it,
is
Phil.
a person's
Well
life.
done. Well, our first champion has been announced. The Playa Benny Scala. Unbelievable. Tough competition. Well, guys, this has been our first episode of This Week in Wrestling. I want to thank Phil. I want to thank the player. I want to thank ESO. And I want to thank my partner, Mr. Jimmy Pharaoh, who did well under his phone conditions. We'll see you guys next week. Join us at 9 o'clock for the main show. Jamie Dundee on Monte That. Congratulations, Benny.